All right, hi everybody. Happy New Year to you. I hope everybody's New Year is going well so far. I just want to jump back in and start some lessons back up. I know I took a little while off of the weekly YouTube lessons, just getting some things together. A lot has been going on in my business life as well as in my personal life. So now I hope I can just get things going back for you. You guys, you faithful subscribers that are still out there checking things out, I'm so grateful for you. So let's dive right in, okay? First thing I want you guys to do is just go and hit that subscribe button and make sure that notification bell is on so you guys can be up on every new video that comes out. We got some new lesson videos coming out. We got some new covers coming out, interviews coming out, promos, updates, a lot of stuff that you guys want to be up to date on, okay? So subscribe button, notification bell. Make it happen now. All right, let's do it. So today we are talking about what gear to buy for your church. I'm talking to music directors. I'm talking to worship arts pastors. I'm talking about leaders, pastors, deacons, financial team, treasury board. I am talking to you. Okay. A lot of times I see it, whether it's been in my retail experience or just in my experience as a musician, as a music director, going out to different churches, talking to different leaders, you know, seeing different pastors come in to buy things. What should I get? What do I need? Trying to stay within the budget. So let's talk about it, okay? The first thing I want to encourage you with is do not be afraid to buy used. Don't be afraid to go used, okay? There is a vast difference between used and beat to crap. There's a lot of space in between that, right? And over the years, I've heard people kind of shun used because, you know, they want something that's fresh out the box, or they want something that, you know, hasn't been played, or they hear used and think that it's automatically just beat to shreds, or you can't use it, or it's not presentable, or something like that, when that's oftentimes not the case. And you can stay in budget, get something very decent for a good price when you go used, okay? A lot of times used is not bad. People get rid of stuff and it ends up being used because they want to upgrade, because they can't use it anymore. They probably bought it for somebody else, maybe their child or maybe a family friend or something like that, and they can no longer use it, so it's just sitting there collecting dust. Or they, you know, maybe downsized or resized or shut down their business, shut down the church, moved locations, did something to where it's just inoperable, and they just made some money off of it, right? Put it up, see who buys it. Cool, it's out of my hands, somebody else's instrument, somebody else's thing to deal with, whatever the case may be. That's what happens a lot of times when it's used. So do not be afraid to go used, okay? So that's number one. So let's dive into it, all right? Let's dive even deeper. Let's start with keyboards, all right? Now, the cool thing about keyboards is oftentimes they can last a very long time, all right? Still to this day, we are in 2021, and I still see Korg Tritons out. I see S90s out. I see original motifs out. I see old Rolands, all this stuff that are 10, 15, 20 years old. Right? Yamaha SO8s are still around, XB30s, XB10s. I see it. Still in churches, still being used. And for the people that really, you know, take care of their stuff, still in brand new condition. I've seen keyboards and old motifs in churches that still have the sticker on them, you know? So you can buy these things, right, used, and still get a bang for your buck. Now, what you should be looking for is a keyboard that is often 88 keys, weighted, which usually happens. Something that can layer, right? You want to be able to at least layer 2 sounds. Sometimes 3, sometimes 4. 4 is optimal, but sometimes you run into what they call polyphony issues, which I'm getting into semantics. But something that can layer, that's a pitch bend, there's a mod wheel on it, right? And that can layer different sounds. So you want to be able to layer piano and strings, piano strings and pad, some synths in there. That's what the mod wheel is for, because a lot of times with our praise breaks, with our praise songs, even sometimes with our slow songs, we want We want that mod wheel so we can, you know, get a little gritty with it. That's sometimes what the keyboard players like. Okay, so some good synth sounds in it. Able to layer, 88 keys, weighted. Okay, now when I'm talking to my MDs now, my keyboard players, my aux players, organists, people who have to play keyboards, let's say full 88 keys is not an option. Let's say it's not in the budget. Let's say maybe you don't have the space for a big bulky motif EX, EX or SX or ES8 or whatever. Let's say that's the case, right? Let's say you have a 76 or you have a 61 key. That's fine, right? You still want those things on there. You want to be able to layer. You want to be able to have that pitch bend and mod wheel on there, right? Decent sounds, decent piano sounds, decent Rhodes, good pads, good synth in there. One thing that you can do is get a Midi board, right? Get you a nice used Midi board, M Audio Key Station 88, something like that. Nectar makes great Midi boards. You can find those new and used for pretty affordable prices. And just MIDI in the 61 key to the 88 so you can still have the full range. Sometimes you want the deep low end. Sometimes you want the bright, tinkly high end. You want to be able to spread out and stretch your voice strings, especially if you're in a two-piece situation where it's just keys and drums. You want that full range so you can handle the low end. You can handle all spectrums of the keyboard, right? Right there. So that's another good way to spend anywhere from $500 to $800, and get a decent keyboard and then just have it MIDI'd in to the bottom and boom, there's your 88 keys. All right. So that's what you want to look for in a keyboard. That's a good way to go about it, and don't be afraid to buy used. All right. I'm going to say this all through the video. Do not be afraid to go used. All right, let's keep it going. Let's go over to our drums. Let's go over to our drummers. Okay. So you want to find a package deal if possible. Now, if you have the budget to go and get the Pearl Masters, to go get the Tama Superstar, to go get, the high-end Pearls, the high-end Tamas, DWs, or whatever, you can piece it together, by all means, be great. Go make it happen, right? But if you don't, ball on the budget, we've all been there, you want to find a package deal, okay? Don't hound yourself. Don't stress yourself out trying to find, the closest thing. You're trying to piece together a Frankenstein kit because you want a DW tom and you want a Tama snare with a Pearl kick. You want everything to be as high end. Don't do that, okay? Because oftentimes, if you have a really decent drummer that knows what they're doing, they can tune it up and make it work. If it's mic'd, make it work, right? Do what you do, but put some good heads on it, tune it up. If you need to do some dampening, you can make it work. All right. So what I mean by package deal is if we can get a full kit, at least 5 pieces, right? Sizes 10, 12, 16, 22-inch kick, 14-inch snare. 14 by 5.5 is pretty standard. 14 by 6, 14 by 7 is usually what drummers like to see. They like the deeper snares, right? Piccolo snares aren't really around anymore. They're not as popular as they used to be 10, 15 years ago. So, you want to find those 5-piece kit with hardware. As much hardware as you can find. Kick pedal, hi-hat stand, snare stand, cymbal stands, boom stands are really in right now. You can make some straight stand work, but boom stands is what you really want to see. All right. So if you can find a kit that has, 5-piece shell pack with 3 cymbal stands, hi-hat stand, snare stand, kick pedal, go for it. Right. Even new and used, right? So you can look at SPL. You can look at Pearl. You can look at some kits like that. You can look at Ludwig. Used, you can find a lot more variety. People just giving away stuff. You might be able to find deals on Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, Reverb, right? Guitar Center used, all these different sites like that. Find some more variety. But if you're looking new, SPL Birch Unity is a great kit to go for. It's not super expensive, and you can just throw some good heads on it, tune it up real nice, and be in a good place. They kind of raised the price on it, which I'm kind of upset about because they used to really give Yamaha a run for their money. But the Pearl Export is a great kit to go with. New kit, 5-piece shell pack, has some good stock heads on it already, so you don't have to worry about changing those heads. SPL kit, stock heads are kind of meh. But that Pro Export, and it comes with hardware. All right. Brand new, fresh out the box. All right. So don't be afraid to buy used. You want to look for those sizes. Even when you're buying used, just go ahead and throw a fresh set of heads on there. All right. It's going to help out. So look for those things. Don't be afraid. Again, do not be afraid to go used. And if you can, look for a package deal. Kit plus hardware. Kit plus hardware. A lot of times they'll just throw it in. You can find them from anywhere between like $350 and $600. Once you start getting $600, it's usually like the higher end kits, PDP, Tama, and sometimes they're more pieces too. So like drummers, we like 6-piece kits, 7-piece kits with the 8. Maybe you got 14 and 16-inch toms you can do some stuff with. 6 pieces, optimal be like 8, 10, 12, 16. Some people like 2 racks, 2 floors. Work that out with your team. See what their suggestion is, what their preference is, and see what you can find. But new and used, between that $350, $600 price range, you can find some good stuff, but go with the package deal, okay? And take care of your equipment. Swap the heads often, every 3 to 6 months, depending on, how bad they get played on. Swap them out, make sure you sand those hoops down, really take care of it, take care of that wood, all right? And if you can, buy protection plans on this stuff. If it's going to be stationary, you should be okay, but better to have it and not need it for sure with that stuff, all right? Let's continue. Bass amps. Bass amps, all right? This is something that often gets overlooked just because, of course, the bassists are usually going to bring their own instrument, but oftentimes they just go through a DI, or they might go through an amp head or something like that, or something in the corner that can use a direct out on it, and we just leave it, we'll cue it later. But if you don't have one, it's good to at least have one, even if you don't have a bass player, because you're going to have a function, you're going to have an extra concert, a revival, a Friends and Family Sunday, and you don't know what the other church may bring. So it's good to have one there just so they can come in and plug in and play. Just be hospitable for your house, all right? So with bass amps, as long as it has a direct out on it, you're going to be fine, because that thing can go straight through the house, right? Have a personal monitor for the bass amp, for the bass player, excuse me. You guys are going to be okay. I recommend 100-watt amps. 100-watt bass amps, that's enough power for the bass to kind of feel what's going on. And then those usually have direct outs to go into the house, so that can go into everybody's monitors, everybody's headphones, and you can be okay. So some good brands. Fender Rumble, PV has some good stuff, Acoustic has some good stuff, and Ampeg has some good stuff. Fender Rumble, PV, Ampeg, Acoustic. All right. Now, I do want to address acoustics. Okay, their amps can sound a little thin sometimes. Just EQ it out. Spend some time. Get that sweet spot in there, whether it's from the bass or from the amp or both. All right, you want to spend a little bit of time with those. Everything else, you can almost plug and play and be okay, especially if you set the amp flat and EQ from your bass. You're going to be okay most of the time, but with those acoustics, you're going to have to do a little bit of work with that amp just to get it to sound how we like it. Nice and warm, deep, but still has that nice punch to it. Spend some time with that guy, okay? That's with the bass amps. Similar deal with the guitar amps, right? 50 to 100 watts. The Boss Katanas are great. You can find some good Fender stuff, whether it's the Frontman or the Champion amps. Line 6, you can get away with some good stuff from them, whether it's the Spider series or something else. All right? Something that has a direct out on it, something that can easily be mic'd, but can give the guitar player enough amplification so that he can feel what's going on, if that's the case. All right, something he can plug his pedal board into, have another line to go into the house, do that. All right. I didn't address organs just because a lot of times they're there already. You inherit them, you can find them, here and there, but organs, you're going to be spending some cash, whether it's a modular thing where you get like a keyboard organ like the VK8, VK7, Nords are in now, Hammond SK series, something like that, you're gonna be spending anywhere from $700 to $1,400 easy. That's on the low end. And organs can, of course, be work, making sure they're serviced, making sure they're oiled, checking drawbars, checking bass pedals, all of that. But it is a labor of love that should be done. Okay, every church should be making sure if you have an organ that is up to par. Oftentimes in your area, there is a place that services organs, or there's somebody that really knows organs like the back of their hand. I'm in the St. Louis area. We have a couple of people and a couple of shops that know their organs. Gerler, Winston Electronics. We got Bobby Conner, the great Bobby Conner, Levi 2 King, that know organs really well and get them serviced regularly. Okay, so invest the time, invest the money, make it happen so that your music ministry can be sounding its best. Okay, stay up to par with your cables. We don't think about it often, but cables go out. Sometimes they need to be replaced after a while. 1/4-inch cables, XLR cables, which are your mic cables. Just every 6 months, do a check at minimum. Make sure everything is working all right, making sure we don't need to replenish anything. Sustain pedals, power cables, headphone extensions, headphones, right? Depending on your house. Headphones go out. It happens. All right. If you're purchasing cables, my best advice is to go Livewire, because at most of your stores, especially a lot of churches, they shop at Guitar Center, which is fine. But at Guitar Center, your Livewire cables have lifetime guarantees on them. So if anything happens to that cable, take it back to Guitar Center and get you a fresh one. All right. Just check on your stuff. Things happen, and we want to be giving God our best. We want to present our best. We want our music ministries to be functioning smoothly, so that way in praise and worship situations, when we're backing up a pastor, offering, anytime the music is going forth, that it can be clean, that it can be smooth, everybody's pleased, everything is just smooth sailing. Okay, so whether you are replacing things, whether you are building your church's music ministry from the ground up, whether it's time to just get some things updated, some keyboards are going out, some drum sets are kind of breaking down, and it's time to re-up. If your drum set is from 1982 still, you still rocking the 12, 13, 16 toms, right? Your toms don't have bottom heads on them, all of that. Your drum heads are gray, brown, and black. Just do it. Just update it. Do a fundraiser. Do what you got to do. Sell some plates. Do a concert. Do an extra offering. Do what has to be done. It makes a huge difference. And I speak from experience. It makes a huge difference. And throughout this video, I gave you some tips on how to do that. All right. And again, I am saying, do not be afraid or ashamed to buy used. Okay. It happens. It's there for a reason. You get your bang for your buck. You got somebody that know what they're doing. Go swap some heads, tune them up, go MIDI, do what you got to do. It's ways around it. All right. We can make it work. And it's not ghetto. It's okay. It happens. We just got to know, the tricks of the trade to work around it and make it work. For every price point, there is a way to make it work. All right. So make it work. All right. And, you got players that do what they do. They'll be fine. All right. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Again, hit that subscribe button down there and that notification bell so you can stay up to date on the latest, hottest videos. As I said, more weekly lessons, more interviews, more covers are coming your way. Thank you so much for staying tuned, and I will see you next time.